I took a seat across from my parents and younger twin brothers, Ben and Sam, in our old kitchen in Willow Creek. The smell of baked ham and fresh rolls brought back memories, but tonight felt different. My parents exchanged a glance before Mom spoke carefully. "Jason, we need to discuss a significant decision." I set my fork down as Dad explained they'd finished their will. Ben smirked. "To put it simply, everything is coming to us." Shock hit me as Sam added lightly, "Mom and Dad are leaving the house, cottage, and investments to us. You won't get anything." The kitchen fell silent except for distant traffic noise. I looked at Mom, hoping she'd say they were joking, but she just nodded firmly. "We believe this is right. You're doing well, you have a good job. Ben and Sam need more assistance." I turned to Dad, waiting for him to object, but he avoided my gaze. Anger rose within me. For over 10 years, I'd sent them money for the mortgage, paid medical bills, and bailed out Ben and Sam repeatedly. This was how they repaid me. "So after everything, you think I don't deserve anything?" My voice trembled with hurt. Mom sighed. "Jason, you always turn everything into something about money. It's not about the money," I said, trying to stay calm. "It's about fairness, about how I've always been there when you needed me. But now, because I'm self-sufficient, I'm worthless." Ben snorted. "You enjoyed playing the martyr." Sam chuckled. "Maybe you thought if you threw enough money at us, Mom and Dad would care about you as much as they care about us." His words hit hard. I looked at my parents, waiting for them to defend me, but they stayed silent. In that silence, I understood everything. "All right," I said steadily. "If that's your decision, then I have my own. From now on, don't count on anything from me, financial or otherwise." I stood up and walked out. No one called after me. Driving back to my city apartment, I processed the finality of what had happened. Hadn't I always suspected, deep down, that I was primarily their financial backup? Back in my apartment, I opened my banking app. The numbers stared back at me, $1,900 monthly to my parents, often more to Ben and Sam. They justified their decision by saying I didn't need help, but without my support, could they even maintain their lifestyle? My finger hovered over the automatic transfer section. 1 second. 2 seconds. I pressed cancel. A notification confirmed, recurring payments successfully stopped. A wave of emotions crashed over me, anger at being used. Bitterness at unappreciated sacrifice, but also unexpected relief. I sank back into the couch, feeling a weight lift off my shoulders. That night, sleep was impossible. I thought about all the sacrifices I'd made, believing they mattered, that they would earn genuine love and appreciation. But when I needed recognition, they couldn't even give me that. They had chosen money over me. The next morning, my phone rang before I was out of bed. "Mom." I hesitated before answering. "Jason, did you stop this month's payment?" Her voice was sharp with worry. "Yes, Mom," I said calmly. "Because I realized I don't have to do this anymore." "It's not my responsibility." "What do you mean you don't have to?" "Families support each other. We rely on that money." "Mom, family only seems to matter to you when I'm paying for everything. I've helped for years, but in the end, I still don't mean anything beyond my bank account." "You're being incredibly selfish, Jason. Why are you acting this way just because of the will?" "Not everything is about money." "Not about money? You're telling me it's not about money?" "I was the one paying the bills for years." A tense silence stretched. "I can't believe you're behaving like this," Mom finally said coldly. "This isn't the Jason I raised. You've changed. This is me, Mom. You just never truly saw me for who I was." I hung up, ending that cycle. Standing in my apartment, I felt a whirlwind of emotions: hurt, anger, sadness, but also growing liberation. I knew they'd call again, but for the first time, I didn't feel obligated to answer or fix things. I wasn't their financial resource anymore. I opened my laptop and canceled all remaining recurring payments. Each confirmation felt like cutting ties that had bound me for too long. Now, without those obligations, what was I supposed to do with myself? Who was I without that role? 3 weeks passed in silence. Then a message from Mom, family meeting tomorrow 7 p.m. Be on time. A part of me hoped maybe they wanted an honest conversation, perhaps even an apology. Against my better judgment, I decided to go. As I entered my parents' house, tension filled the room. Chris and Kevin sat on the couch, arms crossed, unwelcoming. Dad stood near the fireplace, grim-faced, while Mom sat red-eyed, as if she'd been crying. Before I could speak, Mom did. Jason, I don't understand you anymore. How much further do you intend to go in tearing this family apart? What are you talking about? How am I tearing the family apart? Dad sighed, frustrated. You've put us in a difficult financial situation. If you continue to be stubborn, your mother is going to have a complete breakdown. I laughed bitterly. So now I'm the reason Mom is stressed. What about all those years I carried this family financially? Chris scoffed. You always make everything about money, don't you? Kevin leaned forward, defensive. Come on, Jason. You have a good job. Why are you making such a big deal out of this? You're just facing the consequences of being selfish. Their words cut deep. I had come hoping for reconciliation, but met only pressure and blame. If this is why you called me here, I said firmly, don't waste your time or mine. I'm not coming back to the way things were. Ever. Mom's face went blank with shock. What did you just say? I stood up, looking around at the people I had sacrificed so much for. I have done everything to be part of this family, to contribute, to help, to earn your love. But if my worth is only measured by how much money I bring in, then I don't need that kind of love. I don't need this. No one stopped me as I walked out. I left for good, closing the door on that painful chapter of my life. 2 days later. I returned home late to find my front door sealed shut with industrial foam. Someone had deliberately done this. Checking security footage, I saw Sam vandalizing my apartment. Without hesitation, I called the police. When officers arrived, I explained the situation and showed them the footage. Based on this, we can identify your brother. Do you want to press charges for vandalism? One officer asked. I gripped my phone tightly. If I didn't hold him accountable, it would escalate. Yes, I want to press charges. The next day, my phone rang relentlessly. I ignored calls from Mom, Dad, and Chris until Dad persisted. Jason, your brother was contacted by the police. They said you're pressing charges. How could you do this to your own family? Sam vandalized my property, Dad. He deliberately sealed my door shut. If he doesn't want criminal charges, he needs to pay for the damages. How much are you asking for to drop the charges? $3,000. That will cover removing the foam and repairing any damage. How could you try to extort your own brother like this? He demanded. It's not extortion, Dad. It's called consequences. He chose to damage my property, and now he has to face the consequences. The next morning, a $3,000 transfer appeared in my account with a bitter note. Hope I never have to see you again. This changes everything. I read it but felt nothing. The money was simply compensation. Shortly after, messages from distant relatives started appearing. Is this true? People are saying you've abandoned your family financially. I checked social media and understood. Mom had posted an emotional story claiming I had heartlessly turned my back on my struggling family. Friends and acquaintances flooded comments, vilifying me based on her lies. Anger flared in my chest. They conveniently left out that I had paid most of their mortgage, covered tuition bills, and personal expenses. They didn't mention Sam vandalizing my apartment. They only painted me as the villain. I sat silently for minutes before deciding to share my truth. I created a post laying out every dollar I had sent over 10 years, explaining how they had always seen me as a source of funds, not as a son or brother. I exposed Sam's vandalism and stated, I didn't turn my back on my family. My family only saw me as part of them if I was bringing in money. Now, I choose to stand up for myself and share the reality of the situation. Within hours, my post caused a huge reaction online. Relatives began questioning my mother's version. Some extended family members publicly called out Mom for twisting the truth. But the strongest reaction came from my immediate family. Mom called, furious. "Jason, what on earth did you just do? You posted that online." "I told the truth, Mom. If you have the right to tell your side, then so do I. People deserve the full picture." She was breathless with rage. "You're shaming this family. You're humiliating us." Did they think about how I felt when Sam vandalized my home? Did they think about me when I was sacrificing my life to pay their bills? She twisted the situation back onto me. "You're destroying this family. If you do this, don't expect to ever be welcome back. As far as we're concerned, you are no longer family." I closed my eyes, letting her words sink in. "Mom, you destroyed this family, not me. Your choices led us here." I hung up, ending that cycle. No tears came, no regret washed over me. For the first time, I felt profound relief. Maybe they were never truly my family to begin with. That phone call was the last time I heard her voice. After my post, my immediate family went completely silent. No more angry messages or calls. This time, the silence brought peace and freedom. At first, the quietness felt strange. Evenings I used to spend solving family crises were now empty. I channeled that energy into building my own life. I focused intensely on work, completing a major project ahead of schedule and earning a significant promotion. The day I received my promotion letter, I stood in my new office, looking out over the city. For the first time, I could fully enjoy my success without guilt or obligation to share it. This success was mine, earned by me, for me. I decided to travel, booking a ticket to Vancouver, Canada. When the plane landed, I felt immediate liberation, stepping into a new world. I explored diverse neighborhoods, spent hours in Stanley Park, ate incredible seafood, and enjoyed local craft beers. I wasn't my family's problem solver anymore. I was just Jason, discovering himself and the world. One afternoon, sitting on a park bench overlooking English Bay, a stranger approached. "You seem to really like this spot," she said. I looked up. She had bright, friendly eyes and a quiet confidence that was immediately appealing. "I think I just fell in love with this city," I replied. She sat down beside me. "Me too. This is my 4th time visiting. There's just something about it, a frequent visitor, huh? What keeps bringing you back?" "You could say that," she chuckled. "There's always something new to see, another trail to hike." "My name's Sarah, Jason." We talked for a long time, the conversation flowing easily. She was a writer from Seattle, passionate about hiking and nature. Her voice was calm, sometimes laced with effortless humor that made me laugh freely. I couldn't remember the last time I had talked to someone without pressure or expectations. With Sarah, there was no pretense, just genuine connection. As I got up to leave, the sun dipping below the horizon, she smiled. "If you ever want company exploring Vancouver sometime, I'd be happy to join you." I hesitated briefly before nodding, genuinely smiling. "I think I'd like that very much." The next few days felt wonderful. Sarah and I explored markets, tried various restaurants, walked along the seawall, and watched the city light up. She didn't ask about my family, job, or finances. She just saw me for who I was, a man embracing freedom, finding joy in simple things. One evening, sitting on a patio overlooking city lights, I gazed out and smiled. I used to think my happiness depended on my family, that if I gave enough, they would love me. But the truth was, I didn't need to beg for love from people who never valued me. I could create my own happiness, build a life with genuine connections. Right here, under the Canadian sky. Surrounded by beauty and Sarah's company, I knew I was doing exactly that. After returning home, I stepped back into my life with renewed purpose and self-worth. I joined a photography club, meeting people who shared my passion. I made friends who appreciated me for me, embracing the life I had put on hold for too long. News about my old family reached me indirectly. Aunt Diane messaged that my parents were struggling, working tough jobs and looking worn out. I paused, seeing this coming. They had relied on me completely, never considering independence. Now they faced harsh reality without my safety net. I put my phone down without replying. I heard Chris lost his job due to poor performance and Kevin still chased unrealistic dreams, living hand to mouth. I wasn't surprised or responsible anymore. They had opportunities to change but chose dependency. Now they dealt with their choices' consequences. I once thought Christmas without my family would feel lonely. But as the holiday approached, I realized I had built a new support system. I hosted a small gathering, inviting new friends and kind relatives. Aunt Clara arrived early with homemade cookies, giving me a warm hug. "I'm so proud of you, Jason," she said sincerely. I smiled genuinely. "You know, you're pretty much the only person in the family who's ever said that to me." Clara looked at me with understanding and sadness. "I wish they had seen your worth before it was too late." I didn't respond, pouring her a glass of wine and inviting her in. Friends arrived, bringing drinks and snacks, filling my apartment with laughter and warmth. That evening, I laughed more genuinely than any previous Christmas with my immediate family. There were no forced conversations or underlying tensions. It was just me, happy on my own terms, surrounded by people who cared. As midnight struck, marking Christmas Day, I stood by the window, looking out at city lights. A deep, quiet peace settled over me. No more hidden burdens, no more feeling used, no desperate need for approval. Just me, my life, and people who truly loved me for who I was. That was the greatest Christmas gift I could receive. Sitting back in my armchair, watching city lights reflect against the windowpane, I felt a stillness and certainty I had never known before. I had believed family was everything, that I had to sacrifice my well-being for theirs. I convinced myself that if I gave enough, they would finally love me. But the truth was different. Family isn't solely defined by blood. Family consists of those who appreciate you, who don't take advantage of your generosity, who love you unconditionally. My parents, Chris and Kevin, never truly saw me as family. I was a resource. They believed cutting me out would break me, make me crawl back. But unknowingly, they gave me the greatest gift, severing the last tie binding me to their toxic dynamic. They set me free. I had once been weighed down by responsibility and unappreciated sacrifices. Now, I had the power to choose my life, build it on my terms, guided by my values and desires. I could pursue interests, spend time with people who truly loved me, friends who stood by me, aunts who quietly supported me. I could love and be loved freely, genuinely. My eyes drifted to my phone. No missed calls, no new messages. They had let me go. And for the first time, I wasn't afraid of that. I picked up my glass of wine, taking a slow sip, feeling its warmth spread through me. I had once lived for my family, sacrificing my well-being, trying to earn love that was never freely given. Now, I chose to live for myself, to build a life filled with authentic connections and genuine happiness. That wasn't selfish. That was freedom.